Welcome back. I want to introduce our next speaker. His name is Daniel Johnson. Daniel is originally from Western Australia. He moved to the United States as a child and now has a full-blown American accent, and he can often be found He can often be found designing, creating, and building useful products and businesses. Daniel discovered entrepreneurship at age 17 when he scaled his first business before selling it just a few years later. After studying entrepreneurship and computer science at BYU, Daniel went on to start and sell a number of businesses, not to mention a number of failures along the way too. Daniel is currently an active investor and is serving as Chief Technology Officer for Shift Global. Please put your hands together for Daniel Johnson.
Thank you. Yeah, while we were getting ready, we were mapping out how far I could do cartwheels up here, but we decided to maybe not do that today. We'll just keep it strictly tech. So I'm excited to talk about my speech with you about validating your ideas using no code. This is definitely not the JavaScript way of doing things. However, I want to show you a few slides here that may convince you otherwise. By raise of hand, has anyone ever used just a tool they had on hand just to get the job done? Maybe a much larger tool than needed to be used for the job that needed to get done? Any parents out there? This is my favorite. The next slide was actually what happened after. Now, as a software engineer, I have a desolate sea of dead app ideas that I've started. I've got a pretty messy folder system that's got half-baked ideas everywhere. And so I want to help you guys today take your ideas and turn them into something in reality. And so have very many of you had someone approach you with an app idea? Yes. So some of the craziest ideas are actually the best ideas. And now I'm not saying Tinder for dogs or rate my body fluids or any other silly app ideas you've heard of out there necessarily work out. But I want to show you a tool that I came up with in about 20 minutes. So we're going to use the rest of the session time. I'm going to show you from beginning to end how I built an MVP and got it deployed and on the market to start validating my idea to see if it's any good. And so for this event, I created an app called Brunch. And I want to take you just straight into my wireframe so you can see how I designed this. So hopped on Adobe XD, and I just came up with a few screens of how I wanted my app to look like. So what the premise of this app was, I had a number of friends ask me to go to lunch with them, and I found it very difficult to text them back and forth and find a time that we could actually meet in a place that would work out. By the time they confirmed, then someone else had said, yeah, I can go to lunch. And so I wanted to make a more simple way to having lunch. So the app is called Brunch. You'll see in these wireframes that, let's mirror this. There we go. This is the Brunch app that I had designed on Adobe XD. So coming in here, we got a simple splash screen upon loading and going straight into a sign up and login page. Very simple home page that could fill up with appointments. 3 simple questions. Who do you want to eat with? What times are you available? And where do you want to eat? And once you get confirmed by a friend, Elon Musk is not a personal friend, nor does he want to have lunch with me. But the guest will then receive one of these 3 screens. So they'll receive an invitation to eat lunch with me. They'll choose one of the 5 dates that I've selected that work for my schedule. And then on their end, they will see that same appointment reflect on their side. So just to reiterate, it took me about 1 full hour from idea to deployment. And I want to show you a video of my screen during the process. So the very first thing you do when you have an idea, you go straight to buying a domain name. Who here has a landslide of purchased domain names that they have not done anything with? So let'seatbrunch.com was available, so zipped in, paid for that. The video is going to go kind of fast and slow in certain areas, so we won't spend time on kind of the smaller, tedious stuff. After checking out, though, I'm literally taking you every step of the way to deploying an app. This is the tool that I use, Bubble.io. Bubble.io is a no-code designing full web application tool, and it's awesome. You can't see it on the left side, but there are a row of tabs, and the 3 top tabs are really important. You have a design tab, you have a workflow tab, and you have a database tab. So you're kind of controlling everything from the user interface all the way to the database. So what just happened here is I actually created all of the pages that we need to run in the app that you had seen in my previous design. Bringing in the logo now, this is going to be the home page of the app. So if you are signed in as a user, this is the page that you will come to. And you'll see here in a little bit the logic on how we'll put authentication in front of the home page. What I'm building at this point now is a repeating group that allows me to bring in all of my appointments, and that will look against the database for the current user using the app. And what you're also seeing here is kind of the conditions in which we want to show events. So for example, I don't want to see another user's set of events on my app. Okay, what you're seeing now is a place where I can essentially set up all the styles. So if I continually use the same input boxes, the same buttons, I can just copy and paste and apply those styles. So now the fields that I'm putting in are database fields. So everything is very simple from a graphic user interface point of view. And so you can have multiple tables with multiple fields, and you have all your traditional types of string and Boolean and numbers and everything you need to build an app. The text that's going in right now is going to be in place of the user's name who you have the appointment with, the restaurant that you will be eating with them at, and then the date and time. And then this icon here will just be a hyperlink out to Google Maps. So when you're ready to go eat lunch with that friend, you can tap on the link and have your route take you there. So this is starting to wrap up the home page here, and I think the video will speed up even more. Set up a condition that if you have no appointments, it'll say nothing scheduled. We have the brunch logo, and when you tap on the hamburger, that's how you begin a new brunch appointment with a friend. Up in the top right corner, I have a preview button screen, so I can continually do testing to make sure that the experience is how it should be. Also note that we're in a development environment right now, and you can have multiple environments, even have multiple people working within different environments, and to be able to deploy a single app at the end. So I'm back here in the styles page, setting up that white login button because we're going to use that a few more times. So the login screen and the sign up screen are both going to live on top of the home page. And so I've created some logic here. So this is really awesome. So if you can see, I'm on the second tab down. We're inside workflows right now. And this workflow, what I'm setting up is essentially saying when the login button is clicked, log the user in. Once they're logged in, please send them to the home page. When the user's not logged in, I don't want them having access to an account. Don't want them seeing someone else's data. And so the home page is then redacted, and they are automatically sent to the sign-up page. And from the sign-up page, they can toggle between sign-up and login. So in reality, we're probably about at the 15-minute mark right now in this, maybe longer, maybe a 20-minute mark right now. And at this point, I probably would have just finished creating React app or installing all my Node modules. Even just trying to install, say, Xcode on a brand new computer would have just barely wrapped up at this point. We already got login going and a functioning preview that people could actually use the app. In fact, you could even deploy the app at this point, although it wouldn't really do anything. But here you see we have authentication finished, login, sign up, and a home page ready to go with all its functionality. So the logic really happens in the workflow. Thank you. Thank you. So everything that gets created in the design screen can be referenced in the workflow section. So for example, you'll see there's like an email input box and there's a name input box. We could call up those inputs in our logic and essentially do something with that. So create, say, a database record or manipulate a record or send an email. So there's so many actions. There's probably a few hundred different actions that you have available to you in bubble.io. This is a full CRUD system. And so as you can see, I have designed, these are the times that people can now select. And they can hit delete and remove a time. They can add a time, and they can edit the times. So give them the ability to do five times as an option for their guests to choose from. The date and time picking tool is just a native plugin from the Bubble database. And while I was showing off the capability of this app, I really wanted to kind of check all the boxes. And so here we're going to make an API connection to Google Places. I've redacted my keys from you guys. I'm sorry. Not sorry, but sorry. And so a user can now enter a place to search for. For example, they could have Cafe Zupas. And it will prioritize your results based on location. Once your results have been returned, they can then select on the location that they want to choose. And we've even integrated a Google Map. So underneath the Google Map here, I'm entering in the place's name, the location, just to verify before sending your invitation to a guest to come eat lunch with you or brunch. They can see exactly what where they're going to meet at. So right now, just doing some speed testing, making sure that the results that we're getting from the Google Places API are returning correct. So you'll see I'm toggling back and forth between designing screen and this workflows logic screen. And if you think of it, it really is kind of that middle ground between interacting with the user interface to actually storing data in the database. And the database looks and feels like Excel, really. All right, so we've now wrapped up the invitation process. Now these are the screens in which you would receive an invite to go do lunch. And I think it went by a bit too fast. However, there is an email that gets sent out when you invite someone to lunch. They click on the link. The link takes them to this introduction page. They don't have to be signed in to use the app. And so through URL parameters, we're storing their choices for the location and for the time. And once that information has been put in, then we sign up the user so you have the ability to help sign up your friends, and they also can use the app as well. just from that email invite. So this is the last screen that your guest to lunch would see. They pick the time that they choose. And this is a view of the database, so we can see that there have been 3 invitations sent out in the database. And once the guest accepts that invitation, they can then log in and use the app with you. So it should wrap up here in a minute, and I'm just going to go through a real-time example from beginning to end of how the app's functionality works. And even more exciting, I'll give anybody the availability who wants to possibly grab some brunch or lunch with me to use the app as well. So I'll talk you through that here in a second. So some final user testing now, making sure all of the links are routing to the correct positions, that we're getting all of the right results and the right data. And everything inside of bubble.io is conditional too. So I can set up parameters to change colors, change words, change images, graphics, based upon certain database conditions. For example, if you are, say, an admin for an app, you can have a different experience. Say if you're a standard user, we can change all those conditions. And so to have these kind of capabilities and to deploy a full-scale web app and mobile app in just under 60 minutes is just a really great business approach to knowing if what you're building is truly useful or not. Right here, I'm now attaching the URL, letsgetbrunch.com. So I didn't want to leave anything out in this process. I want to make sure you see from beginning to end the full process in deploying an app. Give it a couple more clicks, and we should see that it's connecting. And yeah, you can see letseatbrunch.com now working. So this is just going to be a short run through from beginning to end. So here I am as a very first time user on the live version of the app that's been deployed. LastPass is asking for my password. Nope. And so I signed up, gave my email, password, my name, and now I'm on the home page. I then created my very first invite, just to another email of my own. But in this example, we're going to call him Elon Musk because he'd be fun to brunch with. And here we are going through and choosing 5 different dates and times. So first will be the date, second will be the time. And this is live, what you're seeing here, and the experience is the exact same mobile as well. Ruth Chris, Park City, of course, is where I'd choose if I could. So now that invitation's gone out, inside the email, there is now a link on the opposite end. So here we come in as user 2. Inside the email, open up the link. And it says, hello, Daniel's invited you to eat lunch together. Looks like the map went down, but choose a day and time. Hit confirm, and because this user hasn't been on the platform before or isn't logged in, they now have the opportunity to sign up at this point. And the data passes through, so now on his end, he can see that he has lunch with me on that day. And on my end, on the other side of the screen, you can see my view. So there's a full app in 60 minutes. And this is actually out of the box turned into a PWA. So I might have a little bit of time for questions, or am I out of time? But essentially, if you'd like to learn more about the process that I did here, you can go to letseatbrunch.com. You can hit the share icon on iOS or on Android. Save to home screen, and the PWA will be downloaded to your device, or you can just use the web experience with desktop and mobile. But I'd love to interact with you guys through this 60-minute app. So thank you for your time and attention.